Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Folly, and welcome to podcast 1.1 for Chem Prep this year. Yeah, I can't wait. We're going to talk about mass, volume, conservation of mass, volumes of containers, densities with slopes, and density calculations. So, we got a lot to do, so let's take a look at it. All right, mass. Mass is the amount of matter in a substance. It's measured on a balance in grams or kilograms. So, this is a balance. I know it doesn't look like it's balancing anything. This was the original idea of a balance, but its units are grams, sometimes kilograms, and it's measured on a balance. So make sure you write that down, okay? And then we talk about it being the amount of stuff in there, so there's a bunch of stuff in there, that's very massive. Volume is the amount of space something takes up. It's measured in centimeters cubed or meters cubed, or most likely milliliters or liters, okay? So this would be a can of Coke is 455 milliliters. I know my Diet Coke addiction shows. Okay, so the way you can find volume could be length times width times height, or with a graduated cylinder. So let's draw some. Something with a small volume and a big mass would be, and I'd put a lot of dots in it. Okay, something with a big volume and a big mass would just be bigger with a lot, and those dots would represent mass. Okay, they represent particles. Remember, it's the amount of matter that something takes up. So notice this could be, in theory, the same thing if I made it look as crowded, which is what I'm trying to do. Let's draw another. Small volume, small mass. Small volume, small mass. Big volume, oops, I wanted to do small mass. Whoopsie. Big volume, small mass. Okay. Mass is never created nor destroyed, it just changes form. So this kind of comes from we can't like make up stuff, okay? So if my hero weighs 145 pounds and eats 2 pounds of Bosco sticks, what does he weigh? 147 pounds. How did I get that? 145 plus 2, right? It doesn't go anywhere else. If you eat 2 pounds, you gain 2 pounds, okay? 70 grams of iron is left out overnight. It now weighs 73 grams and is rusty. Where did that weight come from? So if I've got an iron bar right here, and it weighs 73 or 70, and then it is rusty. Now, if it's rusty, what that means is there's stuff that's come and attached to it, like a coating, right? So what is that? What causes iron to rust? Well, the O2, oxygen, oxygen's O2, the oxygen joins it. So whenever something gets heavier, it has to come from somewhere. Where did that weight come from? I would take the air, but really I'm looking for oxygen, which could also be called O2. Volumes and containers. Now, this is kind of weird to even talk about this. In the movie Seven, one of my favorite movies of all time, Gwyneth Paltrow, who I don't like very much, her head is delivered in a box like the one below. This is true. If I fill the box with water, will that volume equal the volume of the inside of the box or equal the volume of the outside of the box? It will be the inside of the box, right? So the volume of water would be the inside part. Don't worry about the outside. Okay? It's a cheesy little trick question that's on your test that I want to make sure you don't miss. Mass and volume are related graphically. This is related graphically in what's called density. Okay? So if I were to plot these things, so I'm going to draw this. So if I were to plot these things, one, we'll call this mass, and we'll call this volume. No, let's call this mass, and we'll call this volume. So if my mass is 2.77, 12.77, and the volume is 8.3, so I'll just call this 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's 8. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8.3 and 3. Uh-oh. Got that guy right there. If it's 3.77, so that's up one more, and 11.3, 8, 9, 10, 11.3. And this is up, basically, the mass is up 1. Wait, that was 3. This is 3.77. And then the next one would be 14.3. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. You'll notice that these things have a nice, steady slope. Okay, make the line fat, so it's true. But it's true. The density is constant because the slope is constant. Okay, so notice every time this goes up by 1, up 1, and every time this goes up by 3. Okay, so the mass goes up 1 and the volume goes up 3. Okay, so that would be a 1/3 slope. Okay, so that means that, remember, density is mass over volume. So I could take any of these numbers. If I took the top number, 2.77 over 8.3, I would get, I put it in my calculator so you know, 2.77 divided by 8.3. I get syntax error. So I'll do it again, 2.77 divided by 8.3, I get 0.33. If I did it for this guy right here, 5.77 over 17.3, 5.77 divided by 17.3, I get the same 0.33. Okay, so that ratio is the same, which tells me the slope is the same. Okay, if eighth hour's brain has a density of 4.33, is this a graph of their brain? No, because this has a density equals 0.33. Okay? All right, so what is the slope? Okay, the slope is rise over run, right? Whoops, I put run. Rise over run. So what is the density of the metal above? So it's also mass over volume. So I could pick any of these points. So if density is mass over volume, this guy right here, if my mass is 50 and my volume is 10, that's easy enough. My density is 5 grams per centimeter cubed. Okay. For this liquid, again, I've got mass, which is in grams, and then volume, which is in milliliters. So for that liquid, oopsies, come on, go back, go back. Come on, you can go back. It's not letting me go back. This has never happened to me before. Watch me get mad now. Uh-oh. Now it's gone silly. Okay. If you think tech was bad before, here we go. Okay, so here I could pick any point. You can pick any point. So I'm going to pick 8, and I'm going to divide it by 80. So 8 is the mass over 80 milliliters. And that's going to cancel out and be 1/10, 0.1 grams per milliliter. Okay? Let's hope my computer's not mean to me again. So density is mass over volume. So see how it's rise, mass, over run, volume. So if my density is 13.5, and density is mass over volume, then 13.5 equals 151 over V. Cross multiplication, right? V equals 151 over 13.5, and my calculator will tell me 11.2. Now, I just want to make sure that you guys know you should have done this problem in your notes, not just watched it, but wrote it down. Oh man, where's my next slide? Wow, that's weird. Okay. Haven't had this happen on my new computer before. So, review. Density is the slope of mass and volume. Density is mass over volume. Mass the amount of matter. Volume is the amount of space. I'm sorry, I'm doing this in a library and I'm afraid I'm going to get yelled at. I'm really not this whispery. But this is what we get. So, I will talk to y'all later. Toodles.